In this video, I'm going to talk about actor Tom Cruise making a rare political stance, and also I'm going to talk about the mainstream media and particularly Hollywood's sudden interest in talking about the Epstein files and the general public's, sudden interest in it, especially with liberals who were just calling the QAnon conspiracy just a couple of years ago. But yeah, anyway, like, comment, subscribe, get me to 1,000 subs. Now, on the Tom Cruise front and his rare political stance, it has to do with Donald Trump and his Kennedy Center honors, where every president honors a number of people. And this year, Trump wanted to honor Mel Gibson, Jon Voight, Sylvester Stallone, as far as film actors. And of course, they all accepted, but apparently one didn't accept, that being Tom Cruise. And he rejected it, obviously, for the sake of his career. I mean, not too long ago, he rejected a Golden Globes Awards because of, racism or something. And every now and then, even the ones that like to stay quiet about their stances, if they want to work in mainstream Hollywood, from time to time, they have to make a particular stance. I feel the same way about Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, in order for the mainstream media not to heavily investigate why he dares have sex with women that's in their early 20s, every now and then he makes statements about the environment. While, of course, traveling on large yachts and private jets. And with Tom Cruise, every now and then he virtue signals, like with that Golden Globe Awards refusal because of racism, and now this, rejecting the Kennedy Center honor. Because if he were to accept it, all of a sudden the mainstream media would be reinvigorated in mentioning his Scientology position, his position against Big Pharma, which obviously was a good position to have, and why, or questioning him on why he hasn't seen his only biological daughter in many years. But again, imagine that. No matter how successful you are, no matter how much you've accomplished for decades, you, particularly as a presumably heterosexual white male in the entertainment industry, you always ultimately will have to grovel, to submit, in order to be able to continue to maintain your career and the reputation that they allow you to have, that being in the mainstream media. Like, you can never outrank or be more successful than what you need to show fealty to, what you need to submit to. And to me, that's why I say no man in Hollywood is a man. They all have to be submissive bitches or play the bend over game in order to achieve, especially on that high level. I mean, again, not too long ago, we had Denzel Washington talking about he kissed a man. Even if he actually didn't do it, he had to announce it to show, I might be this Christian godly figure in Hollywood, but at the end of the day, I have to make out with a man, or at least announce that I made out with a man. And it's for the same reasons, in order to maintain a career and the reputation that they allow him to have. And it's only with Trump, because previous Republican presidents have been allowed to honor celebrities, even if they were obviously Democrat. Like, you can go back to George W. Bush, where he honored actress Elizabeth Taylor, who, was a libtard Democrat. But as we know, they've taken a particular position when it comes to Donald Trump, even though Trump was among them for decades in the Hollywood circles. So he really is, even more so than Ronald Reagan, a Hollywood president. Because essentially outside of the real estate business world, he comes out of that world. It's how most people knew about him before he ran for president. Which brings me to the Epstein files and the concerns with it now of Hollywood. And I highlighted through this Hollywood Reporter article and a story from Kevin Spacey encouraging the release of the files, I guess to vindicate him. But anyway, in this article, they talk about it, but they essentially downplay it by saying that the Epstein files is fast becoming the JFK of our time. And with so many internet sources to listen to and publish on, the public, they say the public has a chance to be the hero of the story. Basically downplaying it and making reference to Hollywood probably being partly responsible because of its decades of history of making conspiracy stories. They even reference Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut. And yes, over the decades, Hollywood has made movies and TV shows that's in the vein of this same sort of Epstein file conspiracy about a number of high-profile figures in and outside of entertainment being on the list. And now that Trump has changed his tune on releasing the list, of course, liberals have taken advantage of it and now are acting like they believe the list is real and they want it released. When, to me, if all of the people that speculate high, powerful people are behind sealing the list, my theory is maybe he doesn't want to release it or can't release it because they'll make another attempt on his life, but this time it'll be successful. Because we saw the willful negligence that took place when he got shot at and was actually barely hit, but it was hit nonetheless. And I feel like any regular person would be scared into doing or not doing anything, knowing that you can be touched even if you're the president. And then there's your family members to consider. They can suddenly find themselves in an accident or come down with an illness. If the people behind the cover-up of this list are that far-reaching in their powers, they can make anything happen to you. And guess what? The people that proclaim they're so invested in this list being released, they're not going to save you. They're not going to be there to protect you. They're not even going to outrage if something were to happen to you after the fact of you releasing the list, something happens to you. All of these supporters won't do anything. When they were about to lock him up, fingerprinting him, mugshotting him, outside of the January 6th event, which was allowed to happen, none of his ardent supporters did anything. And my whole thing is, if people truly believe the list is real, well, you can do something about it without it having to be officially confirmed. And I always say, you can weaponize your wallet. Stop supporting these industries, these people who you speculate being a part of it. Because, it's pretty obvious, despite what the Hollywood Reporter, of course, is trying to downplay, it's pretty obvious that their industry is full of pedophiles. And a lot of corporate elites, political elites are engaged in that behavior as well. We have too many instances of them being exposed. I mean, there's a reason why they don't want to protect the border. And there's a reason why when sexual predators do get caught, they always try to give them slaps on the wrist, especially when it's female sexual predators or homosexual sexual predators. The sexual predators that probably get punished the most are heterosexual men. But you can even find stories where they don't get punished as much. And plus, I always say, just look at the school system. You don't need a conspiracy theory or a secret list to know that the school system is full of sexual predators. The many women that get exposed, the LGBTQ propaganda that they push. But what do parents do? People with children do. They don't even have a lynch mob forming to protect their own kids in the school system that's being sexually indoctrinated. And I'm supposed to believe these same people care about some Epstein list. You don't even care about your own children in the school system being sexually indoctrinated. And Trump did say people didn't really care. That's something that obviously the peanut gallery didn't like to hear, but there's evidence that they don't care. And I just highlighted with the school situation and Hollywood pretty much making it clear that they condone sexual exploitation of children because they've been doing it in their movies for decades. Having little girls kiss grown men, having little boys kiss grown women, nude scenes with children. So, anyway, the Tom Cruise thing, the Epstein list thing, it all fits under the same boat. One rejects an honor to keep his political standing. And the Epstein list, cover up or not cover up, is occurring to maintain the very same political standing. Whether it is to pretend that it doesn't exist or to pretend like you care because the president that holds office that you don't like is now at the eye of the storm. Because we know for damn sure a Democrat gets back in there, and those same Democrats, liberals calling for it to be released, will suddenly no longer be interested.